When you're faced with any kind of problem, whether it's an illness, a disappointment, or something unexpected, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. In those moments, it's important to remind yourself, this is just a little inconvenience. This simple phrase can change the way you see the problem and how much power you let it have over you. There are two kinds of problems in this world. The first type is real problems. These are things that truly affect your life and need to be addressed. They might be health issues, financial struggles, or relationship troubles. These are the problems that require your attention and effort to overcome. The second type of problem is imaginary. These are the problems we create in our own minds. They're born out of worry, fear, and negative thinking. We imagine the worst, and in doing so, we turn small issues into big ones. We let our imagination run wild, and suddenly, what started as a minor inconvenience feels like a huge mountain to climb. But here's the thing. When you really look at your problems, you'll often find that many of them fall into this second category. They aren't as big as you think. They aren't as serious as they seem. They're just the result of negative thoughts spiraling out of control. Even when you're dealing with a real problem, it's important to remember that not all problems are created equal. What feels like a major crisis to one person might be seen as a minor bump in the road to someone else. For example, losing a job might feel like the end of the world to one person, while another might see it as an opportunity to start fresh, to find a new path. Similarly, being disappointed in love can be devastating for some, but others might take it in stride, understanding that heartbreak is a part of life and that they'll find happiness again. The same situation can be viewed in so many different ways depending on your perspective. This is why it's so crucial to keep things in perspective. When we step back and really examine the problems in our lives, we often find that they aren't as big as we've made them out to be. We see that many of them are issues we've imagined or made worse with our negative thinking. In reality, true significant problems are much rarer than we think. Maybe only 1 in 10 of the issues you're worried about is a real, serious problem that requires your full attention. The rest? They're minor inconveniences at best, and at worst, they're just figments of your imagination. So, when you encounter a problem, before letting it take over your mind and emotions, ask yourself, is this a real problem, or am I imagining the worst? And even if it is a real problem, consider this. How big is it really? Is it something that will matter a year from now? A month from now? Even a week from now? Your attitude towards the problem is far more important than the problem itself. If you think something is a big deal, it will be. If you choose to see it as a small matter, it will remain small. It's all about perspective. In simple terms, if you think it's a problem, it becomes a problem. If you think it's a big problem, it grows in size. But if you choose to see it as just a little inconvenience, that's all it will be. Your mindset has the power to turn mountains into molehills, or vice versa. So next time you're faced with a challenge, remind yourself, this is just a little inconvenience. By adopting this mindset, you'll find that life becomes much lighter, and problems lose their power to control your emotions. You'll be able to handle challenges with a calm, clear mind, and you'll enjoy life so much more because of it. Remember, life is full of challenges, but it's also full of joy, growth, and opportunity. Don't let small inconveniences steal your happiness. Keep things in perspective, and you'll see that most problems aren't as serious as they seem. They're just a part of the journey, a part of life, and they're often much smaller than we make them out to be. Life has a funny way of challenging us, doesn't it? Sometimes we find ourselves thinking that we're in the worst possible situation, that nothing could be harder or more painful. But here's the truth. Nothing is truly the worst. What might feel like the end of the world to you could be seen as just a bump in the road to someone else. Perspective changes everything. Think about it. What one person considers hell might be someone else's heaven. It all depends on how you look at it. For example, one person might think that losing their job is a disaster. They might feel hopeless, like their world is crumbling. But another person might see the same situation as a blessing, a chance to finally pursue a passion they've always had, but never had time for. What seems like a bad thing to one person could be the very thing that sets another person free. The same goes for everyday struggles. A minor inconvenience, like missing a bus or getting stuck in traffic, might ruin one person's entire day. But to another, it might be a chance to enjoy some unexpected quiet time, to listen to music or a podcast they love, or to simply reflect and unwind. What we label as bad often depends more on our attitude than the situation itself. Take a moment to consider this. The things that seem terrible to you, are they really that bad? Or are they just different from what you expected or wanted? Sometimes our expectations can make things seem worse than they are. When we let go of those expectations, we often find that the situation isn't as dire as we thought. It's just different. Even when life throws big challenges our way, like the loss of a loved one or a serious illness, the way we handle those situations makes all the difference. To one person, such events could be devastating, overwhelming them with grief or fear. But to another, these same events might be a reminder of the preciousness of life, a call to appreciate every moment and to live fully, despite the pain. It's important to remember that every person's experience is unique. What's hard for you might be easy for someone else, and what's easy for you might be a struggle for another. We all have different strengths, weaknesses, and perspectives. That's why comparing your journey to someone else's isn't helpful. It's your journey, and it's meant to be different. Instead of focusing on how bad things seem, try to shift your perspective. Ask yourself, is this really the worst? Or is it just different from what I expected? You might find that what you thought was a terrible situation is actually an opportunity in disguise. Maybe it's a chance to grow, to learn something new, or to gain a deeper understanding of yourself and others. Remember, nothing is the worst unless you decide it is. One person's disaster can be another person's fresh start. One person's heartbreak can be another person's lesson in resilience. One person's obstacle can be another person's opportunity. So the next time you're faced with something that feels overwhelming, take a step back. Look at it from a different angle. Consider how someone else might see the same situation. You might find that it's not as bad as you first thought. It might even be something that, in the end, brings you closer to where you want to be. Life is full of ups and downs, but it's how we choose to see those moments that defines our experience. When you change your perspective, you change your reality. Nothing is inherently the worst. Everything depends on how you view it. Embrace the idea that what seems hard today might be the very thing that makes you stronger tomorrow. Because in the grand scheme of things, one person's hell might just be another person's heaven. As we wrap up, remember that life is a continuous journey of growth and discovery. Every challenge, every setback, and every success is an opportunity to learn and become stronger. The perspectives we choose, the mindset we cultivate, and the actions we take all shape the life we live. But this is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, understand, and apply to make the most out of every day. I invite you to continue this journey with me, to keep growing and expanding your knowledge. Together, we can dive deeper into the ideas that inspire us, push us forward, and help us create the life we truly want. So, if you found this helpful, make sure to stay connected. Follow along for more insights, more inspiration, and more ways to turn knowledge into action. Let's keep learning together, because the more we know, the more we grow.